Hello and welcome to Chatter Cave Podcast, where we walk you through scene by scene of a movie and give our opinion on the scene in question. I'm your host, Dragon King Thomas Hughes.
Hi, I'm Hayden, and I wish that Michael Myers has killed me while watching this film.
Let's just get to this rednecky stuff. So, today we're discussing Rob Zombie's take on Halloween, the second of the major slasher franchises to be remade following the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 2003, which obviously we covered last week.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Trying to get stuff.
Aaron, are you okay?
Trying to spoil stuff. Ruining my jokes.
I didn't say Annie. I said Aaron. I
Yeah,
was mocking you. Anyway, so obviously there was remakes in between these two films, like House of Wax, but it's not a major slasher franchise, so it's the second major slasher. So, of course, it's as I said, it's made by Rob Zombie in 2007. And up until 1999, he was actually more known as a member of the band White Zombie, as well as just a year prior going solo with his album Hellbilly Deluxe, which I did listen to a song right before recording, and it's very horror-esque, so you can see why he would eventually go into the horror genre.
That's like what a lot of these like films tend to be like music videos, aren't they? Really,
They're quite because
he's
just a big fan of horror. That's why. Because in '99, the same year, obviously his album came out, he actually did a Halloween Horror Nights Maze for Universal, which is where he got his idea for House of Thousand Corpses in 2000 when he obviously filmed it. But obviously it didn't get released till 2003 because studios didn't want to touch it.
Yeah. Was it Universal that was going to do it? It was like, nah, we won't do it anymore. And the irony of the whole that ride thing was there while the film was quite popular.
Yeah, they in the end they fucking did actually remake his film Into the Maze later on. I mean, they just didn't want to touch it. No one did, apart from I think it was Lionsgate in the end that went, we'll do it. And obviously they did it to fans saying that was good, critics saying what the fuck was that. Obviously, he would later on go and do two sequels, Devil's Rejects, which is obviously the more popular with both fans and critics. And then the very unnecessary Free from Hell, which was not needed at all, but he still went and did it. And obviously between those two sequels, he did both Halloween films, 1 and 2, as well as Lord of Salem and 31. I always want to add, this is for you, Hayden. I noticed when doing my research on him, he did a lot of voice cameos in James Gunn movies.
Really?
He was in Sliver, Super, and he was in both Guardians of the Galaxy as Ravager.
No way.
He was in all. It's been pretty much in a lot of James Gunn movies, and I was like, what? I just thought. I thought
we didn't know.
I literally thought I'd put that in just for you because I was like, that's quite interesting. He was like, doing a lot of James Gunn films. But yeah, anyway, starring in this film. Starring in this film, you have Taylor-Compton, who appeared in 8 episodes of the original Charm series. The remake of the horror April Fool's Day, 7 episodes of Nashville, and of course, obviously, Halloween 2. Duh.
Obviously.
The movie also stars the legendary British actor Malcolm McDowell from A Clockwork Orange, which he's obviously most famous for. 8 episodes of Phineas and Ferb, where he played the granddad. The horror remake Silent Night. Silent Hill Revelation. The 5th Home Alone movie, aka The Christmas Heist, where he was, I think, was the burglar in that, if I remember correctly. 10 episodes of Heroes, but he was also in Elder Scrolls Online.
Really?
He voiced someone called Molag Bal.
Molag Bal? That's a Daedric Prince. Daedric Princes.
That was Malcolm McDowell.
Oh, nice.
What else? Who else we got? We have Brad Dourif, who was Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings. But he's mostly known, obviously, for being the voice of Chucky all these years.
Yes. He's a sheriff, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a sheriff in this. The only obviously voice he wasn't Chucky was the remake, because obviously that was Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill, the god that is Mark Hamill.
Pretty much. Who else we got? We have Tyler Mane, who was the original Sabretooth in X-Men.
Yeah.
He was Troy. Well, sorry, he's in Troy. He wasn't Troy.
He was Troy from High School Musical.
He was in Victor Crowley in a very small role. She's pretty much presented. He was killed like as soon as he got on screen. What else we got? He was in Playing with Fire recently with John Cena. He was quite good in that, actually. He was really funny. And from 1986 to 1996, he was a professional wrestler.
Oh.
Which is obviously why he's really fucking bulky.
Yeah, he's big.
Yeah, big
He's fucking
motherfucker.
big.
And, as we stated before recording, as usual for a zombie movie, we have Sherry Moon Zombie's wife.
Obviously.
Who's pretty much in all the movies I mentioned above.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, I will obviously name plug Danielle Harris, who was in Hatchet 2 to 4, sorry. Which is 4 was actually Victor Crowley, so she's in the same film as Tyler Main. She was in The Wild Thornberrys.
Really?
Yeah, I think she's the daughter in it. And she's no strange to this Halloween franchise, as she appeared in Halloween 4 and 5. Jamie Lloyd, when she was only 11 years old, the first one. I'm pretty certain I read she was born in 1977, so she was only a year old when the first actual film came out. And she went on to the remake of that film. Quite crazy, man, how stuff comes around. Obviously, as I said as well, the movie also stars a lot of horror cameos, like actors and actresses, and just cameos in general, which obviously I'll try and point out as I go along. But the movie focuses on Michael Myers escaping prison after being committed for 17 years following the brutal murders of his sister, his mom's boyfriend, and his sister's boyfriend. And, it follows him on Halloween night as he just goes and butchers the shit out of a lot of people. And I will note, obviously, to the audience here, obviously, me and you spoke beforehand, me and Hayden actually watched 2 different versions of this movie. So I watched the 2-hour, whatever the fuck that movie was, director's unrated cut. Whereas Hayden watched an hour 40, I think it was.
The theatrical cut.
Theatrical cut. So I'll be going off my director's cut, and I will point out as best I can when it's the theatrical version seen afterwards.
I didn't know there was a director's cut.
Both his versions have director's cut.
I was going for the normal one. That'd be quite. That one's there. It's Halloween, the 2007 one. It's the one I need. And then watch him like, okay, it's pretty weird. I didn't think it'd get any more weirder. And then you tell me what happens in the director's cut.
Oh,
and I'm like, glad I watched this one.
But yeah, I'll say the director's cut version, and at the end, because there's only one scene obviously I pointed out I can think of that changes. I'll point out at the end what happens so the audience know what happens in that version. The better scene I said beforehand compared to the version I saw. But another note I'll make as well, I will try not to be biased towards the original, because you know my feelings towards the original movie. It's a masterpiece. John Carpenter is a legend, so I'll try not to be as biased. I'll be biased obviously at times, but
I'm gonna be really biased because I don't like horror films. So
plus you've never seen the original anyway, so
same.
I envy you for not seeing the original and going into this with that knowledge of I just know he's a guy that murders people from the 2018 movie I showed you.
All I know is it's William Shatner.
Yeah, it's William Shatner or Mike Myers, because yeah, baby.
Yeah, I just see this guy as Austin Powers hiding in the William Shatner mask, going, "Yeah, baby," while killing people.
So yeah, I think that's all the notes I pretty much need to point out here. So we'll just jump straight into this hillbilly of film. Also, hellbilly, because a lot of his films are actually referred to as hellbilly, the genre. It's its own sub-genre of the horror genre. Essentially, horror has a sub-genre which is slasher, which then has a sub-genre which is hellbilly.
Which is pretty much just his films.
So let's just get straight into it. So the movie opens with a quote from Dr. Samuel Loomis before the title appears, and it's like Halloween, the usual. And we jump to October 31st, and a young Michael Myers, who's petting his little rat. Not going to do anything bad to this rat.
He's just petting it. He's not doing anything to it.
Obviously, then downstairs, Deborah Myers, played by Sherry Moon Zombie, of course, and Ronnie White, played by William Forsythe, begin to have a weird argument with some very rednecky dialogue of.
Honestly, the phrase that stands out the most for me when he goes, "I'm gonna skull fuck the shit out of you." I was just like, okay.
That just sums up the dialogue of the first 30 minutes at least.
It's very rednecky language, we can say, and very graphic.
Pretty much, that's like at least the second half goes away a bit more from the rednecky, but the first half we have to suffer rednecks.
Obviously, it starts the trend of all of the blokes having greasy long hair as well.
And Hayden, the only good rednecks out there are fucking what's the names? Tucker and Dale.
Yeah,
two good rednecks.
Very wholesome.
Yeah. But anyway, so obviously after that dialogue, her daughter Judith walks in and Ronnie harasses her, sexually.
Oh yeah,
with
definitely.
His quotes of "That's one fine ass."
Oh god, he's like weird to see, but also like I come in knowing a bit about Rob Zombie, so I kind of expected this to happen.
Yeah, he obviously harasses her after she walks off, and her mom's like, "Say it again," and she just chucks stuff all over. He's like, "Ah, bitch!"
Oh,
Because he's a cripple in this movie. But not a fun, loving cripple. This rednecky, harassing people, skull fucking the shit out of people. It's not a redneck.
It's a very colourful family.
Yeah. Which you can see why something happens. But anyway, so she goes upstairs, and turns out Michael, didn't just pet his rat. He, murdered the rat.
Oh yeah. Michael, he's definitely not killing that rat right there. He's definitely not,
Well, he's already killed it. He's just washing the blood away from the knife that he's just fucking butchered it with.
He's definitely like wearing a mask, screaming into the mirror.
Yeah,
that's totally not sus.
That's the same person who's, as you say, definitely not sus. I think Red did it.
Oh, you definitely Red.
The two return downstairs. So obviously, Ronnie harasses Michael as well, saying he's
bullying him, basically.
Taking his mask off, going his face and all that.
Hopefully, Michael doesn't get bullied at school.
Yeah, hopefully, but that's never gonna. Okay, no. So let's just say Michael goes to school and just gets bullied there in the toilets by Wesley.
I.e., Spy Kid. The guy from Spy Kid.
He looks like the guy from Spy Kid. It's not that guy from Spy Kid, because this was too many years after that.
I know it is. It's the guy from Wizard of Place.
Is it?
Yeah.
Not news to me. But yeah, he and his friends mock him, over his mom being an exotic dancer. He's got that little leaflet, like X-rated dancing, which, we actually don't see in this part of the movie. Which you'd think you'd expect after this, like, oh yeah, there's X-rated dancing, but no, it's very 12 dancing, not 12-year-olds. Just 12 is in certificate 12. But yeah, so he gets pissed off, starts a fight. Principal enters, and Michael just yells "fuck you" at him. So that's the way you speak to the for us, head teacher, but for them, principal. Yeah, that's how you speak to them, don't you? Just say "fuck you" at them, so of course.
I remember doing that in school.
I remember some of the stuff, but oh, I say that. He drags him out. So he sits him outside, drags his mom into the school. She gets annoyed. He's like, "Oh, I got a child psychologist here, Dr. Samuel Loomis, played by Malcolm McDowell, the B-Tech version of the Samuel Loomis from the first movie." R.I.P. Donald Pleasance.
He basically shows her what's in Michael's bag.
Yeah. What's in your bag, Michael? Dead animals.
The dead cat. Look at these pictures.
Dead animals.
Dog, dead cat.
He's like, Michael's sick and needs help.
Yeah, this is obviously done just to set up the fact that he's a psychopath. Because as we all know, what happens with child serial killers when they're kids, they tend to start torturing and killing animals. He's just setting up the fact that this is what he's doing.
And you know one thing as well? You know that he's a psychopath as soon as it cuts outside and he's running away with dun 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 dun, playing over the top and fucking running off.
He literally he's running away when the iconic Halloween kind of
thing. Yeah, the remix zombie version of the theme. Because he pretty much remixed a lot of the old themes for this.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
so
so he runs off and begins to stalk the bully who's
stalks Spy Kid.
Bullying someone else at the same time. Want your hat back? Want your hat back? Go get it. He walks into the woods, and then Michael, with his clown mask on, just beats the living shit out of him with a fucking tree branch.
Yeah. He's beating the hell out of the bully easily.
Until his face just bloodies up. And he's like, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Michael, he takes his mask off. You think, oh, okay. Yeah. He's took his bit too far, but he's going to stop here. No, mask back on. Dead.
No, he fucking kills him.
No mercy.
No mercy, unless you're related. That's
fine. It's no mercy in the relation even. But anyway, so
you know what I mean.
In this universe, his first kill obviously isn't Judith; it's Wesley. So that's a little bit of a twist. So at home, Michael again is once again harassed by Ronnie while watching the thing from Another World, which is a movie that's shown all in the first ever Halloween, and is shown all the way in this film as well.
Yeah, because it doesn't like they watch it later on.
Yeah, the exact same fucking scene.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm pretty certain it's the exact same scenes in the original movie as well.
Probably a reference, isn't it?
Which is just irony for the fact that Carpenter, after Halloween, later on went on to actually direct a remake of The Thing from Another World. Which is this is the irony. But anyway, so Michael starts complaining that Judith's taking the piss. She's not coming down. He needs to go trick or treating. Obviously, Deborah calls her down.
Yeah,
she's sort of like, "Oh yeah, I'll take him." But yeah, after she's gone, "Oh, why can't I get that deadbeat sitting in that chair over there?" He just sticks his finger up. She's like, "Oh, if I could get his lazy ass up, I would." Obviously, she leaves, but she's not going to take him trick or treating because
she's going to shag him. Shag a boy.
Yeah, a boyfriend comes walking in. Tom's trying to remember his name. I think I've written down later on.
Probably.
So I'll just try and hopefully remember it. But anyway, so boyfriend comes in. They go upstairs to go to town each other while Michael sits outside.
Yeah.
We listen to the song "Love Hurts," which is all over the second movie. And it's weird because it obviously plays over him sitting on the steps while also cutting between his mom pole dancing because that's a scene we really needed to have cut together.
Oh, yeah. We need to know that his mum's a stripper
at the same time as him being depressed sitting on the steps.
Yeah.
But Michael eventually puts his mask on. And, you cut back inside to see Judith. Here we go. Steve. His name is Steve. She's got a knockers hanging out as they're making love, but it's cut short.
What's he pull out?
Wait. It's cut short because he mentions her dad downstairs. But that's not her dad. That's just a deadbeat mom's boyfriend. But as you say, they now do a new spin on them. Where did Michael get his mask from? So instead of the hardware store, he opens a bag, Steve does, and puts the Halloween mask on. It's like, wow, I want to do it with the mask on.
Do it with the mask, come on.
That's something kinky. So, she's like, oh, no, I'm not doing this.
No, shut up.
But at the same time, Michael obviously enters the house again. He actually went trick-or-treating, though. It'll be nice to add here.
Yeah.
So he goes and sits down, has a little sweet, but he has enough. Opens a drawer, takes out a knife and tape, and heads over to Ronnie sitting down.
Yeah.
And while he's nice and sound asleep, he sellotapes him to the chair.
Ties him up, but he's still asleep.
As he slices his throat.
It's like the moment he slicks his throat, like, oh god.
I would love it if his mouth wasn't taped up and he actually just go, oh god.
And Steve, he goes, oh, I'm hungry.
The thing is,
I'll go for a sandwich.
I will say I do like the practical effects they do in this. They do them quite well.
Yeah, I did like how he was when he slit his throat, he's still there watching it fall down, it flow through his neck.
But then, as you say, obviously Steve comes down to help himself in the fridge, but he walks past fucking this dead body and just like do. Has a little sit down, starts making his little sandwich. Oh, who's that behind you? Oh, it's Michael.
With a bat.
I was gonna say, what's that in his hand? Is it a bat? Oh yeah, it's a bat which he takes to Steve's head 11 times because I fucking counted it. 11 fucking times he smashed that guy's head in.
We counted it.
I was just like, because I remember you in the Texas Chainsaw, I think it was, or another one we did, I can't remember. You counted how many times someone. I think it was Texas Chainsaw. You counted how many times someone got stabbed. I think it was, or something like that. And I was I'll do something smarty. I'll count how many times he beats this guy's head in. And I was getting up to 6, 7. I was like, wait, you're gonna stop, right? 8. Stop, 9. Stop, 10. No, please.
You can't count that far.
I can't count above 10. But yeah, I do say it's so unnerving when it hits him once and he's on the floor just twitching like fuck. That is so unnerving. But obviously after the 11th time, you look at his head and his head's just almost mush. It's just fucked. And obviously then he heads upstairs to Judith where he puts Steve's mask on and begins to play Hey Step Bro, just about the step.
Yeah, literally. I've put it he puts a mask on and there's a bit of Sweet Home Alabama on his sister. Obviously she goes no, tells him off.
Yeah, she thinks obviously it's him, doesn't she? She thinks it's her boyfriend, but when she turns around, after listening to fucking another plug I might add from the first move, Don't Fear the Reaper, which is another song that's in the first film. She turns around to see obviously Michael, and she's like, what the hell are you doing, Michael? And he obviously starts yelling at him, and what the fuck's going on?
Slaps him in the face.
Yeah, she slaps him in the face. And then Michael just like, fuck
like
this
any
bitch.
normal person,
Stab her.
he reacts with stabbing her.
And she's like, bleh, bleh. And he allows her to try and escape. She slowly
She
walks.
hobbles out the room, covered in blood.
That scene when Michael's just in the clown outfit with the fucking mask. He steps out with that fucking theme again playing. He steps out and is staring. It's not as iconic as just a bigger Michael just standing there, but it's quite humorous to watch. He's like, you're really scared this little guy just standing there. He's not even like got his outfit complete. He's half clown, half fucking Michael. And obviously,
he goes over.
Yeah, stalks her and then
slashy.
Stabs. Yeah, slashy. Stabby.
Yeah.
And
she dies.
She eventually succumbs to the wounds and dies. Yeah. And, he then goes to his baby sister Boo, which you're not gonna kill her, are you?
Oh no.
But little kissy on the head. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, Boo.
After all that, I think he's gonna change now.
Oh, he takes her outside. He's on the porch.
Sit outside, and then Deborah
hey,
returns
Mummy.
home. Sirens fill the air.
She's like, "What's happened? What's going on? What's wrong?" And he's not even responding.
Yeah, I do love.
All he hears the sirens.
I do love when it cuts to the black and white. I do love that.
Yeah,
and it's just like showing the footage of her just screaming at the fact, obviously, a whole family's essentially dead apart from Michael.
And Michael's being arrested. And little Boo's just like.
And the coppers are trying to just fucking drag her away from the body because she's obviously lifted the sheet up as if to reveal her daughter's body. Yeah. Because, the world and the news just want to see a dead naked chick.
Obviously.
Which we'll see many more times.
Welcome to Rob Zombie.
Yeah, because for the first time in the... Well, actually, tell a lie. Julie from the first film, she was nude when she died, but they sort of... slightly swayed away from the nudity, kept it in a few installments here and there, but not as much as this movie. But anyway, she's screaming. Michael's sitting in the car. It's like he's looking at it as what he's done. He's like, "Yep, I did that." And then
I was thinking, okay, now we'll cut to the future now.
No,
like 15 years or something. 11 fucking months.
Yeah, 11 months later, and he's in.
We're still with Kiddie Boy.
Yeah, he's still in Smith's Grove Sanatorium now, where
he's under the care of Dr. Loomis.
Yep, Loomis is now put in his charge, and. Yeah, the two talk. Loomis asks Michael, tell him what he remembers about Halloween, but Michael's like, "Oh, I don't remember anything. Do you mean my candy or my Halloween costume?
I didn't kill anybody."
And he's like, "You don't remember anything?" No.
Obviously, this is cemented more when his mom visits.
Yeah.
And obviously, he's asking, how's everyone at home?
And she's like, "They're fine."
Yeah, they're not there.
You fucking piece of shit. But anyway, so we then see Ismail, played by Danny Trejo, who basically plays himself.
We see Machete.
He literally plays himself. He literally goes, "Oh, I spent myself sometimes behind bars," which he did in real life. He basically plays himself in this movie. And obviously, he says some calming things to Michael. He's trying to keep him calm. But before we obviously cut again to another Loomis interview.
Yeah.
Michael's got his first mask. I still think
that Machete's here to avenge his... nephew, just saying.
Michael gets his first.
This is the Spy Kids universe, right?
Which, his mask's got his favourite colour on, which
it
isn't a colour because this is dialogue we needed. Goddamn 2-hour movies. Oh, sorry. You need to say goddamn 1 hour 40 movies.
Goddamn 1 hour 40 minutes. I mean, it felt like 5 hours.
Good. Okay, that's better.
There you go.
Anyway, we then see his mom again, is it? She's like, "I don't eat wearing the mask." And he's like, "I'm ugly." "You're not ugly." Well, he did murder your daughter, your boyfriend, her boyfriend. So, okay, we can ignore the two. We don't give a shit about the two. But he murdered your daughter, so... Yeah. You don't think he's ugly?
To be fair, he's pretty ugly.
They do actually, I will point this out here, they do recast him in the second movie because it was done obviously years later and the kid got too fucking tall. So they had to recast him with a different kid. And he obviously looks nothing like this version, so...
They do more kid?
They do more flashbacks to the fucking sanatorium.
Why?
Because movie fill time.
Got like fucking 15 minutes.
So yeah, they're talking while, and then we cut to and the three together now. Michael straight up pretty much doesn't want to talk as much now.
Yeah, he's hiding behind his mask basically.
Yeah, and after the meal, Loomis leaves a nurse in charge of Michael while he walks Deborah to her car. Now, the nurse gives a little speaky to him before stupidly turning her back.
Fork?
Reading the paper, and then a fork to the neck. Because, you got to give a psychopath a actual fork. It's not like he's killed 3 people already.
No.
Idiots. But anyway, sirens blare. They come running back. They see Michael. There's no dialogue here. They're all shouting at each other. Michael screams at Deborah. Loomis yells at Michael. Deborah's on the floor breaking down. Before we, cut back to Deborah at home. He watches some home movies. She's crying. Oh, you got to feel bad for her.
She's just upset. Doesn't get anything bad. Pulls out a gun and shoots her fucking head out.
Kurt Cobain herself. 2 weeks running we made that joke.
And this time it was you, not me.
But it's not as good as like the Kurt Cobain moment from the last film we watched. But
you actually see it.
We actually then cut 15 years later. We're actually in the present.
But we do hear Baby Boo crying when she shoots herself, though.
Yeah.
So we know that Baby Boo's still alive and she's orphaned. I wonder if that plot point's going to come in the future.
Nah.
Yeah, 15 years later.
If it's anything like the original Halloween, nah. Halloween 2 maybe, because they did it in that one, but not in the first one. So I don't think it will. But as you say, 15 years later, Ismail's doing more than cleaning this time. He's actually taking this new guy Noel, played by Lou Temple, who I might add was in the prequel to the reboot of Texas Chainsaw. It's not the only Texas Chainsaw actor in this movie, I might add.
Oh God!
I'll point out the next one in a bit. But obviously he's a sheriff in that movie, which you'll see when we, eventually decide to cover that one. Eventually.
Do we have to?
It kind of completes the timeline, so sort of, yeah. My feelings towards having to complete timelines. Fuck's sake, we did Jaws Revenge. I didn't want to. We fucking did.
You made me.
We also did fucking Scooby-Doo Cursed Lake Monster, which you didn't want to do.
You made me.
Yeah, because I like finishing timelines.
Oh, God.
But anyway, so, he's points out now that when they take him to... he's actually sort of best friended him, I should say.
Yeah.
He's best friends with him. Put some cuffs on him, takes him to Loomis. Oh, yeah, I'm not in charge anymore. Bye.
I love that, when we see Michael, like, his room's covered in masks.
Yeah, I do like that.
Fucking massive.
He's straight up just fucking lost it now. He's just got these massive things. Obviously, Michael's played by Tyler Mane now. Because you need a hulking behemoth. Which I will say it's one of my plus points towards this film is the shape of Michael this time around. He's so fucking scary, man. Which I remember reading like an interview about John Carpenter saying he didn't like the fact he was so tall. He was like, he didn't need to be that tall, but I do like him being tall. It just adds that scariness when you
especially for a later on fighter scene.
Yeah, you look behind you and you look up and go, "What the fuck is this big motherfucker here?" But anyway, so after the Loomis,
They go to Loomis for a little talk, and by talk I mean he just sits there quietly with his mask on.
Yeah, and as I say, he's not in charge of him now. He fucks off, and this is where the cut change happens. So Hayden, get ready for the director's cut version.
Oh God!
So the director's cut version. We cut to Noel and another orderly who's actually his cousin because, rednecks. The two drag a female patient from her room and Noel comes up with an idea to then drag her into Michael's room as his cousin decides to rape the woman before handing her to Noel, who then does the same. The two put on Michael's mask and start mocking him before he stands up, grabs his Noel's cousin and just beats him down, forcing obviously Noel to, slightly not pull his trousers up entirely. His trousers are still around his ankles, I might add. He's got his pants up now. So, no male nudity for this movie. He then gets Michael off him, but, Michael just turns around, grabs Noel, just drags him outside, and then just smashes his head against the wall outside. Because he's now dead. I don't know if he fully kills his cousin, but I'm assuming he just goes back and just brutally murders him. Because, Michael doesn't leave loose ends. And then obviously this is obviously then returns to the normal. I'll get back to the difference in a bit. So Ismail obviously then returns, doesn't he? Not seeing the dying Gloria behind her desk because she's had her throat ripped out. Literally, Michael off screen has pulled her throat out with his hands because that's why we got this bigger Michael, so he can do stuff like this.
But obviously, for my version,
Yeah, well, I'll explain
a
that
similar
version.
scene happens basically in my version.
It's literally always different in your version. Is obviously you get more guards than just two dickhead guards.
Yeah,
But
and no rape.
Yeah, I'll explain obviously your version once we've sort of caught up with the present timeline. So I'll just go back. So obviously he walks off, finds the fucking dead guards, says something in Spanish, and tries to see what's going on. But as he turns around, his fucking hulking behemoth of Michael's is standing behind him, and he's like, "What are you doing out your room, Michael? Let's get you back to bed. I'm just gonna have to put these cuffs on you." And Michael, complies. Hands are out. One cuff goes to go. Oh no, he's just grabbed Jane Trejo by the neck, and he starts beating him down. And no, Michael, don't. He just drags him into the what room would you say that is? Would you say it's like the cafeteria room or something like that?
It's like some kind of like washroom or something.
Yeah,
because like he waterboards him.
Yeah, he fucking just for at least about a full fucking 30 seconds straight just keeps waterboarding him. Water eventually goes red, and then he takes a kill from the Scream franchise as he replicates a Sydney kill from Scream 1, but to the extreme and without Matthew Lillard. And he takes the TV off the wall and just obviously off screen you can tell what's probably happened, but he pretty much just slams it onto Ismail's head.
Head crushy.
Which is a shame we didn't actually see that stunt. I would have added a bit more context rather than just like cut to black. But obviously I'll go back now and explain the difference here. So between obviously the Michael being told by Loomis that he's not going to be in charge of him and Ismail returning. Instead of the Noel rape and death scene, which we don't want anyway, we actually have a bunch of guards that take Michael to his new, try and take him to his like new place.
And he's being transported to different facilities.
These are cameos from famous people. So you got Bill Moseley, who was in the second Texas Chainsaw movie. That's what I was on about by second Chainsaw actor. He's also in like all three of fucking Zombies Firefly trilogy. We also have Tom Tolles, who was also in fucking one or two of those. I think he was in one of. I think he was in House of Thousand Corpses, if I remember correctly. And we have Leslie Easterbrook, who was in Police Academy, and also Devil's Rejects. I think she was in. Off the top of my noggin. But anyway, so the difference here is the guard tries to take Michael, and he just uses fucking rage and just rips out his cuffs and just beats them all down. As you said before, and what Leslie Easterbrook tries to shoot him with a shotgun after he's killed two guards already, but another guard just gets in place, gets a shotgun. Like, oh no, human shield, fuck.
No.
And Michael just turns around and just kills her.
He rips her throat out, which is why I mean, I said like it's a similar kill to what we are seeing the aftermath of
Gloria.
In this scene, we actually do see him rip that female guard's throat out first. So we know what it looked like.
And as I said, I prefer that as an escape rather than two guards stupidly going into his room.
Yeah.
Because why would you go into his room when you know the fucking size of him for one and what he's capable of?
And also,
fair enough if going in there, obviously, if you try to go in there to cuff him, then fair enough. But you just went in there to fucking bum someone behind him and not pay attention to him when he gets up. So, and as you say, also you don't need a rape scene. That was unnecessary.
Very unnecessary.
Yeah, so for that scene. And anyway, so cut back to our both present sort of timeline now. So Loomis gets awoken by Dr. Coplesome, who is played by Ron Howard's brother, Clint Howard. Who I didn't notice when I first ever watched this, because you can't really tell it's him off with all the like, makeup and all the fucking stuff, but it's fucking Ron Howard's brother. But anyway, he tells him that Michael's escaped, so Loomis is like, I'll get down there ASAP. And then we cut, to Big Joe Grizzly, played by Ken Foray, another small cameo. He was in the original Dawn of the Dead movie, and also which one? I think he was in Devil's Rejects. I think he was in. Obviously, he's known to work with Zombie already. But anyway, so he drives his truck in with the song Tom Sawyer playing over the background. And he gets there, he starts complaining, he's like, don't scratch my rider, that's how it's done. So, they get to work washing it, and he heads off to the shitter because nature calls.
Yeah. So what to do?
read a dirty magazine.
What? Yeah. So, what are you having a shit? What are you gonna do? Yeah, watch some porn. Look at some porn. Yeah.
So he's reading his dirty magazine as Michael, with
Yeah.
grubby ass toes comes walking in.
Oh God, yeah. The feet say "boo" under the door. They're disgusting
He
feet.
starts knocky, and Michael's like, oh, sorry, the trucker's just like, fuck off.
Trucker Joe.
It's just like, oh, I'll be a while, mate. You want to go? I'm having a massive shit here. I'm gonna be a while, so I don't really want to see you standing there watching me do this dumb. But Michael just knock. He's like, man, I'm gonna come out there and bust you. Knock.
Pulls out his little knife.
Fuck this. Pulls his pants up, flips out his flip knife, and then Michael's just like standing there watching him, and he sees the knife, grabs the knife, and I will say they did this stunt. The two actors did.
Yeah,
they both willingly did the stunt. As fucking Michael just slams Grizzly's hands.
Didn't they break? They
broke that toilet because they were both big blokes.
Yeah, strong.
And he fucking smashes the shit out of his hand until Michael managed to wrestle a knife from him and just stab Grizzly in the fucking gut with it. And he then puts the boiler suit on
and thieves his boots.
Grizzly's there covered in fucking blood on the floor. Because I'm assuming he must have stabbed him multiple times afterwards. It does look like there's a few more wounds. Which I want to note as well, earlier on, when he was back in the olden things, when he killed Ronnie, if you noticed afterwards, there was more wounds on him afterwards. So I'm assuming he must have fucking, after he killed everyone else, he must have stabbed the shit out of him.
Or continuity error.
Or that, maybe. But anyway, so, he gets the suit on, leaves, and then, Mr. Sandman. Because that song was in the original, bom, 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 bom. That plays. As you know, gets our new timeline's Laurie, played by Taylor-Compton, who does a weird spin in this character, but, I'll explain my feelings towards that another time, i.e. overalls. She talks to her mom and dad, has that weird sort of bagel incident.
Making weird sex noises.
Yeah, her mom is played by horror icon Dee Wallace. Another fucking cameo here. Who I think she was in Free From Hell, the last of the zombie trilogy. So, another one who's worked with zombie. He has a lot of the same fucking cast in most of his movies. But anyway, so... Oh, actually, Hayden, you might remember from E.T. She was the mom in E.T.
Oh.
Yeah, she was Elliot's mom. So, eventually, obviously, Laurie leaves to go to school. Well, on the way, she just did the normal Halloween thing and meets Tommy Doyle, because this half of the movie is just a straight up remake. And, we cut to Michael, who's now back home, getting his iconic mask that he hid under the floorboard. He's got his knife as well.
For some reason, why he hid it there?
He managed to somehow hide it. You would have thought they would have ripped the place apart to find the murder weapon, but anyway, so he gets this knife and mask, and I will say it's probably the best mask since the original.
It's all like gritty and
because
basically,
obviously 2, 4, 5, 6, H2O, Resurrection, they all had their different masks each fucking movie, and they sort of gradually got worse before improving, before getting worse again. So this is probably the best up until the 2018 version came out, which obviously was just a grittier version, as you say, again, of the original. So I will give them props for doing original mask, not the fucking shitty ones I did in the others. But anyway, so he watches Laurie as she pushes the forms through while mocking Tommy, like, oh no, the boogeyman's gonna get me, because, mocking the kid.
Yeah.
And then, she drops it, and Michael does that creepy thing where he picks him up and starts sniffing them. Male. Alimony checks. But then we cut to Laurie in school with Annie Brackett, who's played by Danielle Harris.
Yeah.
And Linda, played by Christine Kleb. That's how you pronounce it. They talk about getting together later before we get another scene remade, as Michael, watches Laurie from outside. She spots him, turns away, turns back. Oh no, he's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
Ooh, spooky. And then obviously we cut back to Laurie and Linda as, they're outside discussing Linda getting in trouble at school. Annie rejoins them for another walk down memory lane as we get a badly remade scene from the first, as Michael stands watching them, and yet they all see him. Because in the original, only Laurie saw him, and when she points out he's there, he's gone.
It makes sense. Only her seeing him.
Yeah, and obviously they mock her for him not being there. But in this, they fucking just mock Michael as he's standing in front of him, and they're like, "Oh, my sheriff's dad, fuck you," and he obviously then just disappears because this is a badly remade scene. And then obviously the sheriff then arrives, Sheriff Lee Brackett, played by Brad Dourif. Obviously, he's the father of Annie. And he's like, "Oh, anyone want to ride home?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll get a ride." And then Linda's like, "Oh, I don't want to ride in the Bacon-mobile." And then, I just love the sheriff's reaction. He's just like, "Nice."
I like that one.
And she just drives a fucking way. Oh, the Bacon-mobile. I've heard everything there. I was expecting like the Pig-mobile or something, but no, the Bacon-mobile. That's quite funny. But yeah, so they're split up then again. So Laurie heads home as she doesn't spot Michael now, just standing watching her and her mum outside mess with a skeleton because they're blind. And
obviously,
we cut to Loomis at a cemetery being walked around by the late Sid Haig, who was in all three of obviously Zombies Firefly trilogy, but he couldn't have a big role in the third movie because he became ill very early on, so he only had a short role. And obviously then a few years after, actually I think it was just not long after that movie came out, he did actually pass away in real life. But he was also ironically in Hatchet 3, so another Hatchet member here. I have to find that quite weird. There's a lot of fucking stars of the Hatchet movies in these movies. But anyway, so the two get to the grave of Judith and find a dead animal strung up on a cross in front of it. Obviously, the grave groundskeeper starts having like a fit about kids messing graffiti. It's like, why the hell would someone do that? And Loomis like, I think I know who did this. And I think I know whose grave that is.
Yeah. And
obviously he disappears.
Obviously, it's basically a sign from Michael, basically.
Pretty much. But the thing is, if I remember correctly, in the original, obviously you just see the gravestone missing. Obviously, there's no dead animal on it because they didn't focus on that in the first one. The only dead animals were dogs that Michael killed, but but yeah, so he goes off, and then we cut to Linda and her boyfriend Bob because we know at the slasher part of the movie a bit more. They arrive at the Myers house because they switch it up from the original, where in the original they go to Annie's. When she's watching the kids, they go to Lindsay is the kid's name.
Yes, Lindsay.
In the original, they go to her house. And ironically, by this point in the original, spoiler alert, Annie's already dead at this point. But she's not in this, so they head inside, and they don't notice the fucking Michael just tearing and watching above them on the balcony. He's just staring down at them, which I do like that shot of him just standing there, just watching. There's no one fucking notices. It sort of reminds me of the scene from the movie we'll cover next week, where it's pretty much the exact same scene with Jason just standing up, watching them walk into the house. I do like those sort of moments of this killer just staring above them, and no one knows he's fucking there. But anyway, inside the house, they have some sex.
Yeah.
Before, Bob ejaculates.
Tramp.
Blam. And Linda's like, oh, you could have told me that was going to happen. And, he's going to get some booze for him.
Oh, yeah, get some booze.
Linda gives a little call to Laurie. Talk a bit. But when Bob actually returns, he's there dressed as Ghost Bob. The classic from the original. But, he's jumped by Michael, who just chokes the shit out of him before killing him with
judo chops him.
For killing him with the original knife that he had from earlier on. Stabs him in the chest. Straight into the wall, because that's the scene, again, straight from the original, which a lot of people obviously dissect nowadays for the fact that how the fuck's that knife not slit straight down him?
Like, it goes through his body
and through the wall,
into the wall,
and still leaves knife.
You can see a bit of knife, like the blade. The fuck?
It's a scene that never makes sense, but in the original, it was kind of like an iconic sort of shot. Whereas this, obviously, they just try to remake it again. But anyway, away from weird knives that don't do physics, we see obviously Linda spot Ghost Bob standing in the corner.
The Ghost Bob, yeah. It's like,
but sorry, it's Ghost Michael now.
Oh yeah, obviously, he holds out the beer. It's like,
well, sorry, holds out one beer because he only got one beer from Bob.
Yeah, and Linda's like,
you want it?
I have to go get it, don't I? So she gets up to show her boobs and her ass.
Well, she didn't want to willingly get up. She starts having a go at him at first. She's like, bring him the beer. And he's just like, oh, you're a fucking asshole.
But the reason why he's doing that is just so everyone can see the boobs and ass. And by everyone, I mean shadows like you, Tom.
Ass.
And then he chokes her to death.
Isn't as impactful as the first movie's version of this death, because at the time
was a phone one, wasn't it?
Yeah, he used the phone call, but she was still on the phone at the time, and Laurie just thought she was getting, a bit of sexy time. But obviously she wasn't. And obviously, chokes her to the point she's dead. And we, have our second new dead chick. And, he picks her up, carries her away. More news tea. Great.
But, of course, why not?
We then cut to Loomis buying a gun. Because, he's got to have that gun to shoot people. And I will say it's nice to see how he gets the gun in this version, because the first one, he just somehow has a gun. But this version, obviously, it's pointed out that, he goes and buys the gun first, that's why. Obviously, he's set up and then he's got the gun for later, before we cut back to Laurie and her mom, who's sitting on the porch and having a little chat, powwow. Her dad comes out, the start of this let off a little joke.
It's a nice moment, really. Lovely moment.
And he pulls up, it's like, come on, Laurie, let's go. So she gets in the car. Cynthia's like,
Mom walks in the house.
Sorry, she makes that joke first. She makes a joke about, if you want to get something, you have to clean up first. She just walks off, gets inside. Dad's there having a little smoky. And then Michael just grabs him and starts stabbing him.
Oh, yeah. He now dead.
He just drags him inside, drops him in front of Cynthia.
Amazon delivery.
Amazon delivery, love. You ordered Prime, right? It's 6 p.m. I got it here for you. Cynthia's obviously trying to get away. She cuts to then obviously her crawling away, trying to get to the phone. Michael just chucks her into a fucking table. And then we get probably the most tamest kill of the movie. Is he just snaps her neck really quick. He doesn't even snap it, just goes with his fucking thumb, he just pushes her neck and it's just snap.
Yeah. Snap.
The most tamest kill, I think, in this 2 movies, which is a shame, because obviously you want to see a big kill for obviously quite a known name, but you don't. Just a simple, oh no, I broke a neck. It's like a fucking Kong when he kills a fucking V-Rex and the Peter Jackson, he snaps his mouth and he's like, oh. But not as cool as that. We then cut to Laurie babysitting Tommy, who speaks about the boogeyman, who she obviously mocks him about. So boogeyman.
And totally not going to come in to play at the end.
Yep, and she gets a phone call from Annie, which obviously distracts her from this conversation. And the two talk for a few seconds before Laurie tells Tommy that Lindsay Wallace is coming over. And he's like, oh, no girls allowed. Oh. And obviously we cut to the Wallace house where Lindsay's, again, watching the thing from another world. The exact same scene we said earlier.
Yep.
And standing behind that, which I do like, is just Michael just staring at the TV. Yeah. I think he's just reminiscing. It's like, I remember that film. It's the day I killed people.
Good film, yeah. I won't kill you, love.
But then obviously Annie comes in and Michael's gone. Spooky. Before we cut to the sheriff ignoring Loomis's concerns about the dead animals at the graveyard and the tombstone missing. Even though the sheriff points out, how the fucking teenagers lug that fucking heavy-ass tombstone. He's like, oh, it's just fucking teenagers. And then, we cut back to Annie, who's now walking Lindsay to the doors, while threatening to smash the pumpkin because Lindsay won't shut the fuck up singing. They're going to have a pumpkin smashing party right here.
Oh, yeah.
They get inside. They're like, oh, where's your girlfriend, Laura? He's like, it's not my girlfriend. And Annie then references Ben Tramer, the same fucking reference from the original, which we'd never got to see play out till the second movie, a funny sequence. But the two play around, joke, that weird sort of, he wants to have sex again. They're like, oh, and Tommy's just there, looking at him. It's like, yeah, nice. two chicks do it in front of me. It's like, is it Family Going? Is it Craig? It's like, 2 chicks fine. Look. Oh, no, it's Brian when he plays Oh, that's not Brian. It's fucking Stewie when he's playing the goose in the Jack and the Beanstalk tale. When Peter and Chris are fighting over him, he's like, oh yeah, 2 dudes fell in love with me, nice. It's basically like that, just about the dialogue, and just Tommy smiling in the background, like very creepily and horny for a very young kid. A horn honk then.
You as a kid.
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't until fucking I met Dan, and that was out the window. But anyway, so the horn honks, and he leaves to get in Paul's car, which I will say it's nice that Paul actually made it into this film. As the original, he never did. He was only on the phone in the first one. But yeah, he makes it into the film. So we cut back to Sheriff and Loomis, who argue about Michael. The sheriff's like, oh, the only reason you did the book was to make money, and basically you just created a monster. And he shows him the book. He's like, I'll keep it around. Because the guy who hates the book so he keeps it on his desk all the times.
Obviously, why not?
He's like, oh, you created this monster from basically small killings. And he's not this monster you're saying he's a monster, but not this monster you've made him out to be. And he's like, he fucking is. He's a true monster. And he's only come back to get his baby sister Boo.
Yeah, which then is like, wait, what?
But I don't know why he's come back for her. But it's going to be bad. And then we hear the sheriff's like, oh, if we're going into this, I'm going to have to break a promise. And, he then makes a phone call to the Strodes, which clearly symbolises now what's going to happen here. So, phones him up. We get that funny little answer machine of, we can't come to the phone right now. And, they're both there just fucking dead on the chair and the floor.
They're dead.
And I feel like it looks either continued error, as you say, as the earlier kill, or he just butchered her afterwards. But there's a lot more wounds in her and blood than she had earlier. So either, I say, they didn't have a clue how they were going to kill her early on, or they just had him kill her more afterwards. She died. But, who knows? Anyway, so there's no one there. So, like, okay, we need to go now. And we cut back to Laurie and the kids. Again, talking about the boogeyman. With Laurie basically saying it's all nonsense while the kids back each other up before, diving on her and, like, tickling her to death. And she is, just give me 5 seconds of peace. And they walk off and just go, 1, 2. He's like, oh no. 3, 4, 5.
At least they gave her that 5.
Yeah, I do find that funny. Because they could have just done it, they just obviously left her alone, but they're obviously the kids, so they catered to 5 and then just jumped on her. And we then cut to Annie and Paul just having sex on the couch because we had to see Jamie Lloyd all grown up as a different character. With tits out.
Obviously.
Because, Rob Zombie.
Yeah. Rob Zombie.
But anyway, they're making having this very softcore sex, even though she's half nude. And Michael then just yanks Paul off and just stabs him in the gut before tossing him across the room.
Yeah. And he gets struck down.
She tries to run first, gets outside, get some more nudity in there because you need to plug that shit.
Obviously.
And so she gets dragged back in and she is struck down by Michael, but she gets back up. She, fights back, which is unusual for a horror character that's not the final girl. She actually fights back, tries to get a weapon. Yeah. But, Michael just knocked her out.
And he starts dragging her off screen, don't he?
And I don't think Annie's okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you bitch. Yeah. You fucking stole my joke.
I love stealing your jokes. It's not the first time I stole your jokes in a recording session this weekend. I mean, nothing. Don't watch Satisfactory. I stole your joke.
I never do.
Anyway, so then we return to Laurie and the kids as Laurie's basically saying, oh, Lynn, it's time to go home now. It's too late. So they head off. But, the sheriff's now driving Loomis and he's like, oh, I found Deborah Myers the night of the suicide and I found her baby. And I was like, I didn't want her to go through life knowing what happened. So I took her to a nearby town, dropped her off at the emergency and left. But so long later, I think he said like something like 2 months later or something like that. He found out that he's like my friend, that his friend adopted the baby, which he's obviously hinting at. Laurie is now Boo.
Yeah, basically.
Which obviously, as I said, this plot twist didn't come into play until the Halloween 2, as in the original movie, Michael just had no relation to Laurie, just was like, oh, I see a chick, I'll go and kill her.
Just like, she pretty, I'm going to stalk her for the entire film.
Pretty much, whereas this version's like, oh no, it's my sister, I want to get her back. But anyway, she gets back into the house. She finds, she finds Pumpkinhead Paul on the door.
Oh yeah, Paul's hanging with Logan.
Yeah, Annie's on the floor covered in blood. Go on, you can make a joke.
Yeah. And then Annie is definitely not okay. She's on the floor bleeding. But she's alive.
Laurie's basically crying. Tells Lindsay, go and get some help now. Lindsay runs off screaming, help! And she's there trying to comfort Annie before realising, oh wait, I'll do a smart thing. I'll go call the cops. So she heads off to call the cops. Obviously, we cut to the sheriff getting the call. She calls Loomis to say he's found her. I think they're like about 10 minutes out or something like that. And obviously, back at the house, Michael, it reappears, starts having a little stroll, and he starts yelling at Laurie but Laurie's obviously thinking she's just crying for help. But,
Mm.
she's not, as Marcus walks in and grabs Laurie. But, Laurie gets out of this. She struggles out of it and, again, pulls a original Halloween and uses a chair to smash open the window. And runs off out with Michael chasing. Well, sorry, walking.
She limps out.
She limps out with Michael walking. So a fast limp and a walk.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what wins. Oh, it's
thrilling chase.
It's the limp that works because she managed to get to the Tommy's house, starts banging on the door, and let him in. She's like, "Oh, where's Lindsay? Oh, she's there. Oh." Michael starts kicking the door. They run off upstairs, and then Michael huffs and puffs, and he blows the door in. And he follows them upstairs. They lock themselves in the bathroom, but I think they're okay now. But oh wait, no. Even when the cops here to do the investigation, they're like, "Oh, come on! Oh, no, he's dead. Blood all over the window."
Please die.
Smashes the window open to go and get Laurie, but the other cop, he gets a few shots off.
Yeah, he shoots him once.
Michael just turns around and stab.
They both die, basically. That's the
and then he goes back into the bathroom. Obviously, Laurie's trying to protect the kids, like yelling at him to leave him alone. And he just picks her up and just waltzes off out. And then somehow she's then knocked out.
Yeah.
I'm assuming either he knocked her out or she passed out. I'm going with passed out because he doesn't want to hurt her.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume she's passed out and he just he carries her off to take her back home. But at the same time, he
heads there.
Yeah, the cop car arrives at the Wallace home where the sheriff finds his daughter still alive. So he stays while Loomis heads out, starts yelling at the ambulance, over here. And at the same time, the kids come screaming. And they're like, he got her. And he's like, I know where to go. So, he heads off to go after her. Be the hero we all know he is.
Oh, yeah.
Apart from in the second film. Well, I won't talk about that because he's not a hero. But anyway, a cut to Laurie shows her next to the body of a naked Linda because, again...
Nude body, obviously.
Yeah, necrophilia and all. So, a lot of dead chicks in this movie that are nude.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Michael returns and approaches her, but to kill her, he drops his knife on the floor, takes the picture his mum gave him years before, shows her. He's trying to say without words that, you're my sister.
Yeah, but obviously she has no idea what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, so she tries to
grabs his knife and stabs him.
Well, she tricks him at first.
Yeah,
she's like, hug him. She takes the picture off him, and he takes his mask off to reveal, obviously, his long ass hair. And then, in the process of that, she just goes, fuck you, and stabs him in the fucking neck. Allowing her to try and... When I say escape, she fails at first, has to rip open a few boards, squeeze on through.
To escape.
Michael's now pissed. The iconic score comes up again. He smashes through the same wall, very much easier. But, she's managed to get through the chainmail fence and outside, where she somehow stumbles into a pool that we've never known that was there before.
It's all covered in leaves, no water and stuff.
Yeah, because this pool's always been there, even though they'd never mentioned it once. Bit sus. But so she's in the pool, or slightly hurt now. Michael slowly walks down the pool. Loomis finally arrives to help Laurie.
Yeah, he talks to Michael.
Yeah, he's like, you remember me? Yeah. And he's like, you don't remember, read words again. Carries on walking. Starts yelling, Michael, stop, bang. Bang, stop, bang, 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 bang. Drops down.
Basically, that's what I mean by talking. He shoots him he just shoots him.
Yeah, and Michael drops down, which allows, obviously, Loomis to then go over to Laurie, help her up, and puts his coat around her, because, as I said, that's a little thing in a director's cut. Yeah. Helps her out, takes her to the cop car. So, it's going to be okay.
She's asking, is that the boogeyman?
Again, another remake from the original line.
Yeah. And it looks like all about to end nicely.
Yeah, because he's like, yes, I think it was. Because in the original, it ends with him saying, I do think it was. Smash for the window.
Nope.
Michael's back up. Drags her out the car. Loomis obviously screaming at him.
Yeah.
He then just quickly walks up to the house as quick as he can. Loomis chases. He's like, please let her go. Just drops her on the foot.
Lets her go.
Picks him up. Starts pushy on his eyes. But we watch Laurie. She stumbles up the stairs and into a new hiding spot. Before we cut back to Loomis, who's now had his eyes fucking pouring of blood. And, he he eventually gives up when Laurie starts making sounds, drops him on the floor, drags him away with him, and he's going for look for her. Goes in the room she's in because the coat's still fucking hanging. The idiot starts walking around with his knife because now he kind of wants to kill her because he's like, "You fucking stabbed me, bitch. Fuck you." And obviously
goes around, comes around.
He's walking around, keeps walking. Walks off into another room because I think he sort of knows where she is, but he's not 100%. He does the classic killer thing of, I'm just going to walk off and wait for you to do a stupid noise or something. Walks off. She makes that little sound, so he just begins to comes back and smash for that fucking wall. But she's already gotten out and she's hiding on the landing where she sees Loomis on the floor. She takes his gun from the not dead guy, but all that crying is clearly fucking brought Michael back out. On the chase. And again, another scene in my version is Loomis actually grabs Michael's leg and tries to hold him back.
Oh.
So, with this Loomis leg accessory, Michael just shrugs it away. I think your version, he just goes after her, I think. My version, Loomis managed to grab hold of his leg and Michael just drags him along the floor. But she managed to sort of get into the ceiling and hide. But Michael sees her because he can hear it creaking, so he pulls out a fucking wooden beam and starts to smash the shit out of the fucking ceiling. And it's funny that it's not even his smashing that brings her down.
Yeah,
it's
she falls herself.
She falls herself straight into the next room, covered in the blood obviously from the floor. Gets herself up. Michael comes walking and standing there, pulls the gun out, clicks the fucking gun to point at him, and Michael does the un-Michaelist thing and just fucking rugby tackles her out the fucking window and off the balcony.
Jump out the house.
Because this version of Michael fucking can run. And they land on the floor. He's out unconscious. She's sort of slightly on top of him, a leg caught. Tries to get a leg loose, straddles him, points the gun at him. Click,
go shooty.
Click, click. But Michael grabs her hand, and with that one last hand grab, she managed to click the actual bullet and just throws his brains out. Which I'm assuming it's his brains, even though you don't see it.
Yeah, then you hear the sirens.
Yeah, the blood splatters over her. She has that weird fucking scream. Because she's been watching too much original Texas Chainsaw of Final Girl screaming at the end. So she's there screaming away as the sirens blare, and we then cut to some home video footage, cut in between obviously the credits with the score playing over the top. And that's it, the movie's over. And until the sequel was eventually made 2 years later, this was actually the end of this version of Michael Myers. This is straight up his swan song. But sequels, bring money, gotta do another one. Because, let Rob Zombie make a movie his way, and you get a little more fucked up movie. But anyway, so we get into this overall because I think I've finally narrowed down my actual rating of what I'm going with. So overall for me, as I said, my feelings towards the original. It's a fucking goddamn masterpiece. So I'm always going to be biased here, but I'm going to try not to be in this, but I probably will be. So the first half of the story for me is unnecessary, as it gives too much backstory for Michael. As I prefer just the random, as you say, just spots Laurie and is like, I'm going to stalk her and go after her. I do like the fact, obviously, it showcases, obviously, how bad it was for him, but I just prefer the fact that I don't want to know his backstory. I'd rather it just not be there. But it is quite well shot, first half, so, they did a good job of doing this, so, get away from that. The second half of the movie is just a straight up remake, just more modern. Obviously, a few scenes not present in this version from the originals. Obviously, as I said, the anti-death in the original one, she's getting choked out in the car. The phone call death in the bedroom, and there's obviously just a few scenes here and there. But I will respect the fact that they did replace obviously those scenes with some more like character-driven moments, like with obviously a mom, because obviously the parents weren't really in the first one. So I do like the fact that they do give this more of a thingy, and not just like straight up just did the same story. Because as I say, they did the sibling story in this version, which the original didn't. So even though I wasn't a big fan of that inclusion later on in the actual old ones, I give them respect for not just, as I say, just rehashing it and just doing the exact same fucking thing. What else? Compared to some of the other installments in the franchise, it is watchable, even though at times it is quite dull. It's probably one of the better installments compared to some of the fucking latter ones, mate. Fuck me, especially Halloween 5. Jesus Christ. The actors that's what I was to talk about next. So I do like the new spin on Loomis. So obviously he does a lot more with his book, but he still cares for Michael. He still wants to help him, but he can't. Whereas the old Loomis was always straight up, just kill him. And they're like, no, we can't kill him. No, just fucking kill him. He's a monster. So I do like the fact they've given him a bit more loving than hating, even though the second one just destroys that completely. But I will always prefer the original version. So Donald Pleasant, R.I.P. man, prefer you all the time, even if you did go crazy in 5. So Laurie in this version at times I don't like. I do like when she gets really emotional in this version. She's really well acted in those scenes, but I just don't like the bagel scene. That's just weird, man. See, the original version, Jamie's version, the better version, she is more innocent. So it's like you're like shocked when obviously this killer goes after her, because it makes sense her being the final girl. Whereas this version, she's kind of not innocent in the sense of she literally turns around to her mom and is like, "Oh, that old guy's like touch me here," and she gets the bagel and starts fingering it. I just don't see why that was needed. Rob Zombie, man. Other character wise, I'm happy with the slight changes to characters. So we got obviously more of Annie in this version than the original. So I also like the fact, obviously, as I said, we got Paul in this version, whereas the original didn't even get to see him. So I give him respect for putting him in. I obviously do like some of the new characters they added as well. Obviously, the parents, they did quite decent to watch at times when having these nice moments. And obviously the cameos from the iconic horror actors and actresses, that's a plus for me. I love the fact that he decided to do that. The score is no Carpenter score, but it's still decent. Scary score at times. I'm gonna say score at times. So alright, I guess. The kills, obviously this time a bit more graphic and more brutal, and there's a lot fucking more. I think there's at least 20-ish, I think, from what I remember seeing from a video. So that's obviously a plus for me. A horror film, you sometimes want to see brutal killings and not just like the same. Oh, okay, same. But yeah, I like obviously the kills in the first half probably more than the second half of the movie, because heck, when you really get to see a guy get his head beaten in with a baseball bat 11 times, very rare.
Not a lot of films.
I can't think of one off the top of my head where you do actually see a baseball to the head. It's not very often. It's usually straight up just knife kills or chainsaw kills or dream kills. Who's now Freddy Krueger, man. Again, the gore as well. I do like the gore effects of doing this film. It's quite good. So another bonus there. Michael, as I've stated many times, I love this version. He's so fucking terrifying to watch with his size, just lugging himself around. It's just great. I love the original Michael. He's my preferred version, but this is probably my second favourite version. Followed by the 2018 version, of course. As we stated when we was talking about the director's cut, I just did not need it. They should have just kept it as it was. Don't fucking put that weird rape scene in. Don't need it. Don't know why you did it, Zombie. It's weird. Don't put it in. I would rather have the theatrical version. That escape scene was a lot better and not dumb. Plus, it was full of cameos. I don't know what else to say. I think Zombie does a good job putting his own spin on it. So he does his, zombie-esque spin, but it's just weird. I respect him for trying. Other directors have tried with this franchise and just done fuck all. And I respect him for trying something different, but yeah. So I was lobbying between 6 and 7, just 7 for the extra point of giving the A for effort, but I think I'm just going to go over 6 because A, the original is better, and B, this film is fucking weird at times. That first half hour just is unnecessary. So 6.
Yeah. My overall is it was a film. It felt like two films, to be honest, like
It
in
was pretty
one.
much.
And the first half has been the origin, and the second half has been the original film, but done differently. And
It's
it was
weird.
like unnecessary. It really was. It's like when you're there, you're waiting for the first half to finish, and then when it's to finish, like, the film over now, and then it's not because there's another fucking half of the film. And you're like, fuck. It like there were some good scenes, like the fight in the bath scene. That was
That
pretty
was
good.
really good. It's probably my favourite
It
scene.
was really good. But most of the other scenes just seemed to just drag,
They
or they
do.
were just there to show boobs.
Pretty much.
Let's be honest. And as you know, like I said before, I'm not the biggest fan of horror films, and it wouldn't really be a film that I would choose to watch. Like it was just like something I've been forced to watch by Tom, by Godpoint. So yeah, I don't really have much to say about it other than it was just a bit dull, really, and it was more of a chore to watch than something like, oh, let's put on something good like Scooby Doo 2 or Dora the Explorer.
You shut the fuck up about those two movies. You don't see me plugging Jaws every 5 fucking seconds.
Although,
I just did.
yeah, you just did. You played yourself.
Fuck!
Congratulations. But yeah, I would give it a 5 out of 10. It's the best way to explain it is it's a film.
It's no Jaws 3 or 4.
It's a film. It's not as bad as those films, but it's nowhere near Dora the Explorer. So yeah, 5 out of 10.
So that easily gives it a Chat Cave overall rating of 5.5. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. So my question of the day is: do you think for a movie, your serial killer protagonist, that a backstory to sell why he snapped and became this killer is more scarier, or do you think it's just easier and more scary just to say, oh, he just snapped for no other reason and just goes on a rampage?
I mean, if it was like the entire film of the origin, like just the film itself
That's
is the
what I mean.
origin, it
I
would
feel like
kind
it
of
should
be
have been
alright.
done like that.
It kind of would be done right as that because at least you get to have an understanding, and it's more of his take on that character rather than that is the canon why he snapped. But like in the context of this film, it was really unnecessary, so there was no point for it. Like the film works without the origin or it being an entire origin film, but it doesn't work together. So I say like to me, it doesn't matter like if you're doing origin, if you are, as long as like the origin isn't the half of the fucking film. So that's my answer.
So basically, you sort of lobby for both in a sense here.
Yeah, like if it's done good, both will work.
Okay.
Not together.
See, I do feel like that's one thing he should have done. I feel like he was made to sort of do the second half of the movie as he did, for the fact that obviously a lot of people wanted this Halloween film with Michael Myers going on a rampage, not Kid Michael Myers going on a rampage. But I do feel like if you say he still did Halloween 2 eventually, but say that was Halloween 3, Halloween 2 being his take on the first movie, but Halloween 1 being this backstory as a full overall movie.
Yeah.
I think that probably would have worked as a better trilogy, even though the last one was shit anyway. But I think that would have worked as a better trilogy rather than this duology of two movies in one and then this weird clusterfuck of a second movie. So I kind of think that would have worked. But I was reading before about the fact that they still did want him to do a third one, but obviously he was like, I ain't doing one. I had enough of doing the first two. So you have to respect him for saying fuck off. But they literally, I think they wanted him to do Halloween 3D. They wanted to fucking drag it into a 3D fucking movie.
Oh, for fuck's sake, 3Ds, why?
But obviously, no one was going for it, and it eventually got scrapped for the 2018 sequel to the original, which obviously was the better option to do. Because I think one plot at one point was to do with a prison where he's on death row and he managed to get out and kill people in the prison. But as I say, we got the better version of the 2018 fucking sequel anyway. So thank fuck that Rob Zombie said no. Anyway, so that's
be
it.
One extra fucking film to watch.
Yep. So,
And I don't want to.
As I say, similar to Texas Chainsaw, we'll at some point, if we ever get round to it, as a bonus, we'll try and end the timelines with the fucking follow-up / prequel, the other one. But either way, that's it for Chat Cave this week. Join us next week as we jump a few years in time from this movie's release and discuss the Friday the 13th remake. Don't worry, it's better than the ones we've seen so far. Plus, it's got Caitlin Snow out of fucking Flash.
Hey.
And Sam Winchester out of Supernatural. And it's also connected to Transformers. So until then, I've been your host, Dranking Thomas Hughes.
No. Sorry, are you just going to drop that bombshell right at the end?
Yeah, leave people wanting more.
Oh, okay. And I've been Hayden, and I would have preferred to watch Austin Powers.
And this has been Chat Cave Podcast. I was lobbying on this end joke here, so I was going to go with Happy Halloween. Hayden, like an early Halloween one, but I thought to myself, it wouldn't be a Halloween Michael Myers movie, just going, yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.